Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of September 28th, 2020. Every week we chat about the things parents are talking about, complaining about, and obsessing about right now. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Nicole Eridix.
Hello.
And Terry Morrow.
Hello.
This week we're complaining about Halloween and obsessing about things we did that weren't worth it. We're also taking a couple of breaks for an entertainment discussion and a recommendation roundup. Today we're talking about what our parents did that we didn't, and maybe vice versa. I don't know. This was a post on today.com, their parenting section. The title was 10 Things Our Parents Did That Parents Today Should Bring Back. And first of all, the tone of this article, of this post, was a little judgy, maybe?
Yeah.
Is the word?
Yeah. Even just from the title, you can sort of feel the judginess starting to roll out.
Yes, because it's all things like, taught the children manners, made kids do chores, disciplined each other's kids, had birthday parties at home. Like, okay, fine.
Oh, for goodness sake.
So yeah, it was a little much, but we thought maybe we could find something to discuss in this commentary. I don't know.
Yeah. I noticed they didn't include things like having the mother stay home and cook meals and take care of the children.
Yeah. That was implied. That was definitely implied. Yeah, I mean, my parents were not, they were traditional like this in some ways. I mean, there was definitely like teaching manners and eating dinner and birthday parties at home, if we even had birthday parties, which we didn't really have that many. We had family parties and that was it. Like maybe every second or third year you could have a friend birthday party, but it was definitely not like a given thing that we all did. But then on the other hand, my mom always worked outside the home, which was pretty unusual for the time and place. We always had caregivers. My dad, he didn't cook, but he was more of a hands-on dad, I would say, than a lot of dads of that era. Especially actually after I graduated from high school and my family had moved for a job that my mom got. And my dad didn't really get a new job after that. I mean, he was pretty much dealing with the kids in the house and stuff. So my brother and sister used to joke about him not having a job. So anyway, I mean, I think a lot of these things, sure, they would be nice to have, like, making your kids play outside. Yeah, that's great if you have the safe space for them to do that. But let's not assume that everyone has that. That's just
right.
Yes. And it's just, I mean, when I was growing up, yeah, we all played outside and we had the run of the neighborhood, but everybody's mom was home.
Right.
And there were a lot of adults available. It wasn't, and I think we can say it's maybe a good thing that that is no longer the case. So you adjust to the community you're in or the situation. A lot of these things I feel like my parents did, and I did too. My kids played outside when they were little. When they were younger, we would, they would play in the yard or we would walk down to the park. I think my kids have manners. I don't know. Probably they're Judgy McJudgersons who would think they weren't mannerly enough. We eat dinner as a family. They have chores that they do. I have disciplined other people's kids. I've held birthday parties at home. Did that when I was a kid. Did that now. And you know what? Even back then, disciplining other people's kids, not always clean cut. Sometimes a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just as much in our parents' generation as now.
Yeah, but now it's like, I think other people definitely resent most of the time if you would discipline someone else's child, that other parent would not appreciate it.
I think that
that's
might have
pretty
been
out
the
there.
case then too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if somebody had disciplined me in a way that I did not like, my mother would have been lying on the couch with a wet rag over her head in the dark trying to figure out what to do about it. So I don't think she would have liked that either.
I still remember that one time my grandmother was at our house watching us for whatever reason. And my grandmother was like 4'10" and 85 pounds or what? No, not 85 pounds, but she was very small and delicate looking. But our next door neighbor did something, I can't remember what, and she laid into that little that neighbor child would never step foot in our yard again if my grandmother was there. And I don't think her parents said anything about it.
Yeah. I think that's always a tricky situation and always has been.
Yeah.
I mean, I know my mother had friendships disrupted by relationships I had, so I think, people are still basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of these things we no longer do because we saw that
they
really
didn't work so well for our parents.
It didn't work so well. It's like, I do not want to be as racked with anxiety as my mother was.
Right.
So I'm just going to let that slide. I don't know. What do you think about the put each other first?
What?
I mean, my parents definitely did more stuff as a couple than my husband and I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I also always felt that I was first with my mom. I was my mom's project, and I was pretty important. And maybe she humored the old man, but it was really me. Whereas, I mean, I feel like there are times I put the kids first because they're the ones who needed it.
Yeah.
And you expect that your spouse is able to, have some resources to fall back on himself, that he doesn't need your constant attentiveness. But I wouldn't say that means that I put my family first.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And sometimes one person, needs more attention or
absolutely
hands-on something than the others.
Right.
And it might be.
And sometimes it's my husband that needs it. And I tell the kids, this is a rough time. Can you see what's going on? Just knock it off.
I'm just going to put it out there, but this whole list is like a trigger point. We need a trigger warning on this list. This just makes me cringe in so many ways because I think about my childhood and what my parents did and how they parented. I don't want to bring any of that back. There is nothing there that this list is not very relatable. Not that it was just a different, I don't know, I think that also too because we lived in a small town that was very remote and isolated and there wasn't a lot of outside influence, so they really didn't learn how to do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was,
I
don't know. I don't know if I can.
Yeah,
really
well,
relate to this.
it's just kind of a relic from another time, this list, and there's reasons why things have changed.
Right. And I think they can all be spun various ways also.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think trusting your children is good. Yeah, you should trust your children. We've talked about that a lot in trying to foster independence. But my problem is that I don't trust other people.
Yeah.
I trust them perfectly, but they're going to run up against somebody who's doing something that they can't handle and there's no way to prepare them for. It's the other people I don't
But
trust.
I don't feel like, did our parents' generation trust us? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, guess they let us run around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But
If that's what they're talking
That's
about.
what they're talking about.
yeah, because I was going to say but even still, I mean, yeah, I guess so.
I mean, my dad trusted me with the family car to go off and do things, but he also told me that he had spies all over town and that if I did anything, he would know. So
that doesn't sound like trust.
And I believed him. And so I was mostly good and racked with anxiety if something happened.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But I think we trust our kids more now than what we used to, or they used to. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe we have to because there's more. Like I said, I mean, you can trust your kid to run around the neighborhood knowing that there's a mom at every window watching. Whereas now we let our kids loose on the internet, and who the heck knows? If there's people watching, we may not want them to be. Mm-hmm. So,
and I don't know what towns you guys grew up in. The mums in my town were not watching out the window. They were enjoying social hour. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, they may have had a cocktail as they were looking out the window. I don't know.
I don't know. They were off doing their jazzercise and their visiting and their reading their.
My mom played a lot of bridge.
Reading their, what was those romance novels of the time?
Harlequin?
Harlequin, yeah. Oh my God, my mom had boxes of those. So, yeah. Let's just say this is very situational.
Yeah.
Maybe for, yeah.
One thing that moms never did when we were growing up that we're very glad they can do now is podcast.
That's
true. Think about how much richer our lives are now when instead of curling up with Harlequin romance, we can chat with each other and then let everybody else listen. And listen ourselves to everybody else complaining. And that is it for today's round 1. Tune in tomorrow for our entertainment-themed round 2 and later in the week to find out what we're complaining about, obsessing about, and recommending right now. We're always interested in what you have to say, so drop us a comment on our website, our Facebook page, or Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.